Jesus girl. Jesus girl. Hey, it's the diary of a Jesus girl. Let the wings of the Spirit of the Lord just swirl. You are in it, but you know you're not a part of this world. And for the swine, you should never cast your pearl. Yes, it's just the diary of a Jesus girl. The diary of a Jesus girl. Welcome to the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, where we discuss real-life issues of the committed Christian woman. This podcast will inspire you to love Jesus and impact lives like Jesus. And now it's time for your host, Crystal Day, award-winning author, speaker, and Christian coach.
So welcome to another episode of the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast with yours truly, Crystal Day, in the building. And listen, guys, I have some, I don't know, some love the couple of business, I love fastener people business. I only love people business too. And I know my couple this week, them have no problem for share for them business either. So it's just a bugger fun and enjoyment, and just an inspiring episode I believe is ahead. So with this couple up, we have not even done a couple up in a little while, right? I've been having a little issue finding enough couples, but I'm so glad that our couples for this week said yes to my invitation, and I'm looking forward to hearing their journey, their story, right? So this week in the house we have Marclyn and Nemeica McFarlane. Woo! Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm trying to practice my radio voice, just in case. But yes, welcome Marclyn, welcome Nemeica. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing fine.
Yes, I'm doing great.
Listen, so I know this couple through a very good friend, big up Bishop Omar Wedderburn. He always spoke about Nemeica. I think Nemeica used to you type of part-time book, though.
Oh yes.
You see. I know about Nemeica long before, right? So and I think I officially met them at his book launch. I'm almost sure I met them before, but I officially met them at the book launch, and very down to earth. Everybody know that I love Marclyn, his vibe, the vibe master, the things I mean, yeah. I love Marclyn, so and that's not a go around thing because you're on the podcast. Yeah. Like I truly, just love what you are about, and I know that in Christendom, some people can't take away for offer, but it is what it is. I'm being real. So I'm grateful that you guys said yes to the podcast. So just to tell you guys a little bit about them. So the McFarlanes, they have been high school sweethearts since 2005. No, them have to explain to me why at 14 Marclyn and Nemeica have boyfriend and girlfriend at this time. Yeah, I'm just kidding, right? But after several years of courting and recommitting their lives to God and ministry and completing their studies, they tied the knot on Valentine's Day, February 14, 2015. They might forgot to tell me why they married. Like enough things they forgot to tell me. Wait till me done question, right? They are happily married with 2 children, Josana and Isaiah McFarlane. And basically, as I said, for the 16 years that they have been together, their love and fire for each other has never burnt out. They really believe in celebrating and putting God first. And, I know both of them are very, very creatives. They are creatives, Nemeica does a lot of graphic design, and just, also does work in the publishing industry. And then Marclyn is the ultimate vibes master, very, very passionate about youth, very, very good with the youths, really, really excellent with the youths. I don't know where he gets so much energy from. I'm confused. I don't know. Nemeica, you have to tell me where he gets so much energy from, but also, just seeing him, transitioning from the banking sector to ministry to now financial advisor, just a man that tries to do everything in excellence. So I'm really, really excited to have you guys on. So normally we start a podcast by persons. I know that you are one, but before we did one together, we did one by yourself. So tell us individually, what your life, your journey in Christ look like. So tell us your salvation salvation story. So we start every podcast by person sharing with us their salvation story.
All right.
Okay.
So I let my wife go first. Go.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So for me, I was baptized when I was 7. When my mother was here, she migrated before I was 1, came back when I was 7 when my grandmother died, and she introduced Christ to us, to my brother and myself. And we were going to this particular church, but this church was an upscale church. And for me, I love the arts. I love dancing, drama, singing, even though I can't really sing. I love that. So being at this church, because it's an upscale, I'm a ghetto girl. I don't really have the things that they require, the thing that you dance in. And, my mother still put me in the dancing, but whenever I went to rehearsals, I was always put to sit and watch the other girls. And that was a very disappointing thing for me as a young girl. So my mother left Jamaica for England when I was 12. So I ended up stop going to that church, and me going to high school, Norman Manley High School, had a lot of friends there and became even the head girl, Miss Norman Manley, a lot of things. And I just loved dancing, partying, going to parties, dancing. That's just me. So I ended up with some friends. They are still my good friends to know. I love my girls. We went to party. We used to dance. I used to hide and tell little lies to my grandfather, going over to study because we want to go to party. And
No, you see when I'm writing a post on Facebook and I would say my in-house go. Now you know what I'm talking about.
We're never ready yet, but continue.
Yes. So when I was in 11th grade now, leaving high school, the Lord said to me, what a go on. When you're done school, you have to come in a church. I said, no, I'm not coming to church. Because to be honest, I wanted to be one of those girls in dancing in music videos.
Nemeica wanted to be a pole dancer, a go-go. Nemeica loved dancing so much.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
That she wanted to be in the dancehall industry.
Yes. And the Lord said to me, come, fix up that. Because me and him, we used to take spotlight in a dance, literally, enjoy that. So when I met Marclyn, and my sister, him can sing and him write songs for me. And I say, my dream I come true, so him can sing and me can dance in the music video.
Yeah. We're never ready yet for the podcast. We're never ready yet.
So, Limelight used to be the big thing out there back in the days. I tell you, man, we used to go Limelight and mash up the place. And, I was enjoying myself. And the Lord stick me up and say, come, church time. I left school church time. I said, not going to church yet, man. And him hold me up again and he said, church time name. I'm say, only if you provide a church where me can dance for you, me can act, me can do all of them things there, when I come back. You have to provide a church where me can express myself, because I'm not going to go in a church and sit down and die. And yes, literally. Actually, don't laugh, because I know yesterday. Give me time.
Yeah, man.
Yes. So I remember coming home from school one day, and as I was about to turn into my gate, 2 women, the Lord placed a church on top of the avenue that I was living on. And I'm telling you, when I was going home, 2 ladies bucked me up and them say, I'm inviting you. They gave me a pamphlet and said, I'm inviting you to the church across the road. We're new. And so I said, God, you start already. Anyway, me ignore it. Few weeks later, another lady bumped me up at the same spot and said she had invited me to church. And I still did not go. I just thought I wasn't ready, because I enjoy myself. I don't feel like I didn't want to get bogged down. And I remember this Friday, my brother, he's 1 year older than me. And he came to me and he said, Nemeica, go over the church, they might give bully beef and bread and all, games night and all, come. And I said, bully beef and bread. And so someone just put on full clothes and say, all right, come, we'll go. I tell her that bully beef and bread hold me.
Jesus.
And from then, I did not look back. I'm telling you, I get to express myself. I don't know what I didn't go into. And I'm telling you, the Lord knew what he was doing. It was the right time, the right moment. And I recommitted in 2008. And my journey from there has been, on the rise. And I am just grateful to God for saving me, because I'm looking out there now in the dance world and all the ladies behaving. I'm like, it's like every time I see them, I just like my cringe. I say, some used to behave and go, because being in it, you're enjoying it so much, you don't see how it look and stuff. And myself, why? Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
How old were you when you rededicated your life to the Lord?
18.
18. All right, Marclyn, your side.
Yes. So this is your podcast, and I'm gonna be very real as possible, because as Christians, we have to show people that the Lord can transform lives.
Come on now.
And so I grew up in a home. I grew up in a Christian home. My father basically was a minister in the church, and my mother was a missionary. Now, when missionary, she sang in the choir, she would do stuff. She would pray for people at the altar, and it was a Pentecostal church, like the Rabban Roots, a Pentecostal. Can't wear pants, can't wear chain, no jewelry, can't wash face, nothing. So them type of serious Christian. But it was so serious, and the truth is that my father was very abusive. He was a minister in the church, and yet still he was beating my mother. I mean, physically, like thumb, kick, box down, and my mother will be, just sitting there saying, I should submit to my husband. And, it was that type of mentality where all if him beat you, you submit. If him do it wrong, you submit. Is your husband is the head of the house, and he is king and priest, and all of these things was said. And I, as a child, was growing up in this. I gave my life to the Lord at 7. And when I was 7, I gave my life to the Lord. And my whole family, we were saved. We were singing on the choir, doing everything. But yet still, I'm going home every single day, seeing my father abusing my mother. And when he cannot get to her, he will then now abuse us as a children. Like, he will hit us with wire and cow skin, leather belt, board, and all of those stuff. And just some negative lifestyle. It was a broken family. I mean, we go to church, and I will see him speaking in tongues, and my mom will try to cover it up and worship through it. But then, as a child, I was like, is this what I want? This is not real. This ain't real. And every single morning as a child, and this is when I'm talking, I was like 5, 6, 7 here. 7, 8, going up to 10. Every single morning, I will wake up in a police station. Why I will wake up in a police station is because my mom and dad is fighting, and I would have to be down there giving statement. Who did lick who? Who did kick down who? Who chop who? I'm like, as a child, I grew up like this. In school, in and out of school, just thinking that one day I'll go home and just find my mother dead. Because, my father was a big chapted person. So I looked at my mother and I said, Mom, any day I get older and when I leave this house, I am going to burn a Bible. I hated God. I mean, I said, if this is the God that my father want me to serve, I will never serve that God. And I said to my mom, I'm going to burn a Bible. And she started to cry because she knows as a child what I was seeing every day. And she would always say, you're a loving boy. Don't do certain things. Don't do certain stuff. I'm going to say, no, me can't take this. This is not what I want. Me used to get all beaten to read Bible. I'm beaten for prayer. And if as a young child, you have to be you have to be preaching from the word, and if you don't preach good, you're gonna get lines to write. My father was a disciplinarian. I feel him was some internal soldier. So him do want to be in the army, and him just never put him in. So him just say, come take it out on him children. And I turn away from God. completely went into a life of sin. I mean, real type of sin. I don't know, baby sin me attack. Me attack like in gang and you know, in the process of wanting to sell drugs and the party life, you know, till me change my name, them start calling me Mark Shield, make the girl them spin like donkey cart wheel. You know, man, a jealous a road, man, start smoke weed and burn chalice and pipe and, you know, a lot gun and knife and this are the life I want, because these men were respected, yo, you know, everybody look up to them. I never, even though I had a father figure, he was there, but he was never there. If you get what I'm saying, you know, I grew up in fear. I grew up in fear of my father, and I decided when I left, and, you know, my mother, we left, and I decided, say, you know, I'm not staying, so I run away. So I was a runaway child. I run away and went to my mom to live. Father sent people to call and say, I ain't going back. But then living with my mom now, I got the freedom I needed. And me just go haywire. Me just bring it out, you know, and then going to Tarrant High School just make it so easy for me to just travel right into young life and the badness and the girls and the drugs and the partying. And that is where I met Nemeica, you know, in the party life and them thing there. So, you know, and growing up now, when I reach at the age, so I backside at the age of 13, when I run away from my father, turn away, I done with God now. 13, turn away, backside. I never understand who was God, because I know God through my father's eyes, and that God was so wicked and cruel. And at 16, right? 16, 17, yeah. I met Nemeica.
No, you met me before, but
no, it was just recommitment. Okay. So at 16, Nemeica was in church at the time, you know, and she said we were together at the time, and she said, listen to me, you know, if you know, coming to church right now, working, I said, well, I saw it done, you know. I'm done with them life there, I'm done with that. I can't deal with that no more. And yes, I was filled with the Holy Ghost. I spoke in tongues, I experienced the presence of God when I was a child. But I couldn't stay because this was crazy, yo. It was crazy. And so be it, Nemeica, she called me back and say, you know what, she's not leaving me. She want me just come look for her every day. Just come look for me. Just please look for me. And I say, all right, come look for you. And I say, yo, yeah, go give me the thing. And she say, yeah, man, I get the thing, but just come look for me. I was say, all right, I come look for you every day because I want that thing. Yeah, understand me? And every single day I went over there till I realized that Nemeica was manipulating me. She was tricking me just to get me come to church, for me start feel something now. I start feel back God, and I say, no, oh, me I feel, so me constantly I go that place here till them trap me in that place, and them start prayer for me. You understand me? See everybody a prayer and all sort of things, and you hear more about in us getting together. You understand me, throughout the process. But then I just decide to say, you know what? I cried the night. Break down, me cry, me mad, me upset, me a thump up chair, me a fight, and you know, and all I was saying, God, why you mash up my family? Oh, I love you so much, and you just mash up my family and destroy my family. I hate you, and it's like, I never get an answer. I just a ball. I ball viciously, like, nose not drop and roll. Like everything that was inside of me just started coming out, and every word and anger and every hurt just come, because I'm a family man. I love my family. And just to see that all of us, we just gone away, and who do this and who do that, my life, I just feel like my whole world was destroyed. And you know, Nemeica come up to me and she said, you know, all you have to do is just to open up and let God in. And I say, what? Let what God in? Me get mad. I say, yo, me just start to sit down. I start to sit down same time, and I can't wait till morning come, because I sleep over there, sleep over church. I never did for sleep over. I just sleep over because I say me and Nemeica, you know, we are going to talk and reason, because our uncle them around the stone when we go up a yard. So me decide as morning come. I left and I went home, and one Sunday morning, I was a businessman at the time. As young I was, you know, I had a club called Dasher Saturday. They have a little restaurant on the side. So I did really involve heavily in the world strong. You understand me? I push my thing and I do my thing. And the Lord said, get up out your bed and go to church. And advice at the time, I said, no, I'm not going to church. And, you know, I wait it out, and then I look on the time late. And, you know, it's one of those late churches. So I said, even if you just hear one part of the word go, I put on my clothes and I reach. As I walk in church, I hear my bishop said, my late bishop, he said, if you continue to cry over spilled milk, if you continue to hold your past, you will never be able to step into your future. You'll be stuck for life. And as a businessman, I knew that if I cry over lost profit or lost money, I know I'm not make nothing the next week because my mind just dip, I want to lose. And immediately I walked straight up to the altar and I said, Father, I put my past behind me. I'm now ready for the future. And that was it. That was my recommit back my life to the Lord at the age of 17.
Yeah, listen. Oh my God. So, boy, I'm not even know which part to start dissecting. You know, but you know what I love about the dynamic aspect of both of you is that, as I said, you know, I always say that sometimes we come into church and everybody act like, oh, you know, I had this perfect past and oh, I just choose Jesus automatically, you know, like, oh, and they would say, oh yeah, I was a sinner, you know, but you don't know them sin, you know, you don't know that. Nah, laugh. But it's true, you know, everybody just act like, oh, they but then, you know, I appreciate you guys being honest about where you're at, you know, being honest about, you know, how you felt, especially as a man, Marclyn, you know, being honest about being very angry with God based on what you saw, based on the example, you know, that you saw, and you were very angry. And a lot of time, people just come on and just, you know, act like, oh, you know, this thing's gonna happen, especially because of your growth in Christ and, you know,
the maturity.
The things that you have. It's so easy for you to act like, oh, that wasn't a part of your story.
That wasn't a part of my experience.
You know, but I thank be to God for that. So we want to jump into the couple up. So both of you, after meeting in the dance hall, you know, probably never even realized that both of you got saved at such a young age, and then, you know, walking in rebellion, and then now at this moment, you know, you are calling them back together, like, you know. So I don't know, you guys can start with, you know, how did this lead to marriage?
All right. So I met Nemeica when I was 14. And the moment I met this girl, first time when I saw Nemeica was a tomboy type of person. We actually wanted to fight each other. Nemeica drew me up and said, hey boy, where you come from? Where you come from, boy? Because I was new to the community. And Nemeica, me just decided to me I'm going to take a walk with a couple of friends. And me see this girl and them introduced me. So they were like the prim and the cream of the crop in the community. You know, big yard, the yard where everybody always want because a peer girl live over there and everybody want one girl over there. Because them just nice and special. So I went saw them, you know, never really appeased me at the moment because me I said, no, that girl I want to fight me. And we are play football, Nemeica can play football, people. And Nemeica play football and it's like she try to shift me. So I get mad and I say, I want to that girl there. I'm a bounce her over with my big body. She drop her girl and get up back and grab me again and say, hey, fool, what you do? I'm like, yo, what is wrong with this girl? Like, no, something is wrong. And she said, boy, let go from boy, let go place. I want to hear you. And I said, my girl, just be yourself, you know. I don't want to do things, you know. She said, the meetings, them time, you know, her brother, them big in the communities, and nobody can touch her. But me never did play for do. I just like me just see it as a friendly thing, but them did serious. Because she said, me not for rough her, me not for tackle her so hard. She a girl, you know. But me left that time and we decided to me not go back around there because me not like the vibe. And one day, you know, like me a pass, and it's like there was just a transformation. Nemeica look like any diva. Me not tell you, like when I see her, I see one light over her. Literally, I kid you not. I saw a light over her, and I said, this girl look totally different. Really different. She could not be the same girl who did want to beat me up. She could not be the same girl. And Nemeica came to me and she said, she started talking with nice, you say, Nemeica did serious, fair face did serious, man. When you deal with she, you have to straighten up. Yes, it might try to start call her mom. So she said to you, because remember, Nemeica talk to me in the community. So I say, my party, I come up sweet 16 and I want you dead here and I want you sing for me. I'm going to say, you want me to sing for you? I say, anything, man. You don't know. I have to sing for you. I have to sing for you. So be it so done. Party come. Everything when I see her is like, there was this glow over her. Literally, when I saw Nemeica, I saw the mother of my children. I kid you not, I saw my wife. It's like when I see her, I say, this girl, she's going to be my wife. And I was me never know, me not think about goddamn time, me don't know what has come over me to say that. And it's like I just saw her mothering my kids, and me I say, whoa, just her attitude and her responsibility. She had a lot of responsibility, and she was so responsible that I said, no, man, wouldn't trust my whole life with this girl. And just to hear how everybody talk about her in the community was like, yo, this girl is so awesome. This girl, no man never get that girl here. Yeah, brother, if you get that girl here, yo, I bow down and worship you. You see that girl here? She had the number one. Yo, just the way how every man I talk about this one girl. I was just so shocked. Like, I need this one girl. If everybody talk about her, me need her then. And they must say, Marclyn, if you get she, God come. You don't know nobody if you get she. I mean, I say anything you want to say, me not feel no way at all, but me have to go after her. And then one of the main things that hit me as a male growing up in my time, they use the V word. They said that, no, brother, you know, so she a virgin. I was like, I almost fell off my chair because I never believed that girls could be virgin at that time. Me I go to school where, it as a like close thing.
As a 12, yes.
Close as you squeeze everything gone. So it's like me, I say, there was no, I couldn't believe it. Worse than the community when me did that. These girls just love man, and and as a man come and me did look good, Me have done a lot. Me still look good. Me at them time me look like Dali. Me look like the man, the male Dali. Ken. I remember me return Ken in a man. Little girl walk away from relationship because me cuter than them, them say it, Them no want no man cuter than them.
Yeah, me not like man cuter than me either.
But man tell them, man, let me run the risk. So so long and run and went out and I started talk to her. Boy, I'm not tell lie. She was too great for me. I believe that she was too perfect for me. So I tell her, I go Calabar. When I Tarrant, I tell her I come from England. When I never travel yet in my life. I start to talk. I say, you got my. I come over here. I want you to talk to my. I like you, bye-bye. And then he was like, where you from? I said, I'm from England. Lock it down, there's a cow. I'm fireman, show up. I say, yeah, what we didn't know. Relax and start lyrics are, and Nemeica was a hard nut to crack, me I tell you, man, because a long time me I pursue her, almost 2 years, and she just remember the first time she tried to beat me up, and me I say, yo, she just crack, and at 16 now she reach a level where me say, yeah man, me are moving viciously upon her, like a stealth soldier. I go in and me start look for her every day. Me never have phone them time because me I think to myself, me I say, me no need phone, because me just use, so me she asked me for my number, me said, number? So I give her my mother number. And I say, all right, this is my phone. Call a number if you want. To be honest, I never expect she to call me. Because I say, who is me she for call me? I just going to be a friend here, man. 2 toes me from my house, my mother come to me. Marclyn, I say, yeah, mommy, I will name Nemeica. Nemeica. When Nemeica, if I call my phone, but she want to talk to you. Tell the people them no call my phone. You hear me? So me I say, me shot now, me I say, what? She call me, so them time I shut it. And me I said, no, I'm go to madam. I said, Mom, I need a phone. Me need a phone. Me's a man, and me need a phone. Them time the peanut just bust. Man, I run go half a cheek, buy a peanut. And I said, see your phone here. Me run go over there and say, no, sir, I'm a number they I use never work. So use a number, and call me. And I was just so elated, like me feel like me make a breakthrough. And I said to Nemeica, everything on a shortcut, and I say, I look at you and I like you and I'm really interested in you. Me just gonna ask you, we can start a relationship. Me never yet ask her. And she look for me. And she look for me from head to toe. She look for my toenails. She look for my teeth. My teeth them set up. If them set up straight and right. She look good. And the first thing that make her say out her mouth is, me go give her a try. Me go give her a chance. Me go see if I can go on with that thing. And I was like shocked because it just feels as if it's a whole test me just take on. And the first thing Nemeica said to me that was so important, and this is a nugget for females out there that you can use because that hit me for six. Nemeica said to me that, you know what? Before we start a relationship, I want you to write me a love letter. I'm like, love letter? I said, where the girl you come from? No, sir. Love letter. She said, write me a letter. And I want you to write the reasons why you would want a relationship with me. What you see inside of me that you would want me in your life. I mean, my girl, give me a test already. Like really, yo. What is this? She said that this is an interview. I had to go through an interview process with this girl at the age of 16. And them time that writing was not my skills. I couldn't talk, but not right. So I went over the house and I talked to my sister. I said, I meet this girl. And she said, I write and tell her how I feel about her. She want me write a love letter. And Rutan, say, yeah, you have the strips. Rutan said, don't know what's not for you. Them time my sister in a Queens and she had do poetry in a CHC. And I said, my sister write one piece of love letter. They say, man, I said, Rutan, what go on? All the things set up. Rutan said, brother, listen this. Rutan start quote some word there. I sit down and look at her and I say, what that mean? And she say, my sister say, when I look my sister said, when I look at you, I feel adrenaline rush moving through my body like electricity, like lightning and wire. I mean, I say, yo, what is? My sister go hard. So I say, Rutan, what adrenaline mean? What is? She say, adrenaline meaning like a rush in your body, like butterflies. It just make you tremble. I mean, I said, that it mean? I say, all right, adrenaline not too bad. And when I went over and gave her the letter, Nemeica read the letter and started to cry. I said, no, man, what my sister do? My sister bad like you. She have to pass CXC. I say, listen me. Bad, me now. Nemeica, what? It bad. Nemeica cry. She look at me and she say, here to me. You really think these things about me? People may not write half hour upon that people. They say, I don't know what she talking about. She say, you really think this thing about me? Hear me now? Hear me. Yes. I really think them thing about you from the bottom of my heart, baby. Here now. No. Here to me. Marclyn, so when you say you feel adrenaline rush, what you mean? Like she asked what I mean. But me I said, God is so good. At the same word I asked my sister to explain. She asked me. So when I said, John, so I say it's like I feel a rush in my body, like, oh, I feel for you when I see you. I rush, baby, adrenaline. And she said, oh God, I love you. Right there, I said, what? See him so, and then she give me one love letter. She then immediately she pop out one heart-shaped letter, and she said, I wrote one for you as well. I say, you write a love letter for me? And when I read the love letter, fear letter was like, roses are red, violet are blue. I said, joke this already. Sister, brother, that yo, then he can. How are these roses are red, violets are blue? You don't know our love is true. I'm like, no, but she right. That's what I mean. She did her best at the time, and it was wonderful. Them times me just feel good. Say, yo, one girl write me one love letter. That was strange, it weird. Like we had do some old things where people used to do of old, and right there then we start the relationship, and we were just going school. We weren't Christians at the time. We never going to church as yet. We just there go in and out, party, be a love takes, free nights. Remember them free nights there, Lord God. Yeah, they had our phone just from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning till you not drop asleep from phone. Oh my God, those were man, you know have them things that we know.
Actually, my little sister does that right now. She drop asleep on the phone because she's in love.
What? Oh my, nice. Wow, that a go on still.
Me never know either. Like that, when I see it.
Big up to Jesus. So that's where it started.
Yeah.
So I'm just basically break down how we meet, and Nemeica now going into church was a thing that I didn't want. As I said, I never really appreciate it. And this is why I love Nemeica so much. And this is why I respect her. At the age of 16, Nemeica made decisions, and it was decisive decisions in her life that she's not going to break regardless of who you are. She looked at me and she said, listen to me. We're in a relationship. I know that you're young, and yes, you are young and you're horny and you're what do you call them thing there? On fire. Because we never saved. She looked at me and she said, no sex until I leave high school. I said, who to the girl, man? What the girl you try to me? Me get her now, you as a male back then, every man want to know when you get a girl, yo, you're not it yet. You're not it yet. It was them, boy thing. You're not joke. You're waste man. Them type of talk there. And Nemeica looked at me and she said, listen me, no sex until I leave high school. We not enter in a sexual relationship until she done her, and she did in a 9th grade at the time. So you know how long me have to wait? 9th grade at the time, and I looked at her and I said, hear me, no? That can go on, man. That can go on, that good. Nothing wrong with that. Me vex, because my mind did depend on that, because virgin, and me want to lick the spot, and me want to take it. Me want to be the champion, me win. But she did have something else coming down her sleeve, and I humble myself. All me couldn't do with Nemeica kiss her. Give her like a chops. And let me tell you this, man, the moment my hand start go places where it not for go, me get a slap.
Exactly.
Pop. And I say, what this? She wasn't a Christian at this time. I mean, not name God. We had a party and we had dance, and me had talk real type of dance. Yeah, we didn't even dance squad. Me didn't have squad called Tipper Unit, Tipper Squad. And when we go party, and we did a Shelly Belly squad them and the top dancer them down in the place, because me a real dance about the place. Mark Sheila, you don't know, make the girl them spin like donkey cat wheel. So Nemeica, me a talk enough though. Okay, so all right, hold on. So let me just wrap up the party and then gear that party. So now when in church, as I said, she said to me, no sex before marriage. Under that, CXC done, school done. You don't know. Me ready. Everything me there on heat. Me there on fire. Me wait 3 years. 3 years I wait. My God, in a school, me not go out with nobody, no trouble, nothing. Me ready. Nemeica come up to me and said to me, Marclyn, but normally tell you, say, we can't have sex until we leave high school. But something else come up. I say, what come up, baby? She said, me going to church and me get saved. I say, what? Me in a church? I said, nothing wrong with that. Hear what she said now. We can't have sex till we're married. So me, wait 2-3 years That's something that me feel me deserve. Me obligated to it because you're my girl, and then you're gonna come to me with and say, that class there, that contract they done for is a new contract now after my wait throughout the 3 years. Saying to me that we cannot have no form of intimacy until we're married. Me look on her and say we're done. I say it done. I say me now we are no longer the relationship over. I walk away. She say, okay, fine. I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not going to settle. I'm more than enough. I'm say, yeah man, go on more than enough. I left. And she called, as I said, that was the night she called me a ball. She know that I was a good man. I was a faithful soldier. Because for a young boy like me, we had 3 years. She knows say, boy,
true, man. You hold it.
Me can't let go that you just so. Not just so. Not for can be for and little Kool-Aid. Me can't let go just so. And she called me back the night and basically she said to me, she's sorry, she don't want a relationship to end. And she totally bribe me. She said, I'm gonna give you. But just come church. Come church.
It was the Holy Spirit at work.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit.
What's the bribe?
Well, I don't know about that. She bribed me. She said, come church and she gonna give me. She gonna give me and if I come church. And me I say, you see me say, if I come church, look for you gonna give me? And she said, when? She said, no worry, I said, I'll tell you when. And listen to me. Then you can have me a clean church. She have me a cut garden. Then you can have me a sleepover church. Me join youth ministry. And me wait patiently every minute me go to her. When, Nemeica, when? Me thirsty, when? Nemeica say, just wait no man, just wait no. Me build up the momentum for you, baby. And me I say, all right, me like that art there. Me start,
I have faith, because you look go a long time, say, I have the faith.
Man. Me wait too long, man. Me got through too much trials and tribulation for her. I want to tell you, how much did, me say, something I say, denied but not delayed. So me did a wait. Up my time. And just being there. And this was it when we realized that, Nemeica play me. She's smart. Nemeica smart with the thing. One night I was sleeping over church and Nemeica get up off of the pulpit. So they have the pulpit, they have, they have like a bed there and thing. We they have sleepover all night prayer meeting. And everybody are all asleep now. I see Nemeica get up out of the bed. Or after what she did there. I should just start walk up and down in our church and I worship. Twos, me start here, Nemeica start speaking in tongues, unknown language. Just like that. Nemeica never tarry. She never, me just say she get up and she just start speaking in tongues. Like, run, like, me confused. So me now get up. Everybody see Nemeica get up. So everybody get up now and start worship. Because them I say the Lord come, the Lord in the place and they want me to do it. And me I said, them time I never know what that. So me sit down up now and me start talk to one youth and me I say, yo, a tongue shall speak in a man. Say, yeah man, a tongue shall speak in a man. So me say, what that mean? It means like the Spirit of God in her fully. Him say, yeah man, the Spirit of God in her fully. And me I say, oh, that go on. Him say, yeah man. And me say, so in my head now, I say, but then me can't get nothing then. Me can't go get nothing again. Because if the Spirit of God in her she fully, who me now for go tell she, then he can use me. Me say them he can trick me. Then he can make me stay away till the Spirit of God in her fully, so now me can't get nothing.
That's right.
Me say this is not right with Christ Jesus. This is not right. So me say, no, me not do this. I sit down up in the whole church and everybody starts speaking in tongues and I go through and I say, I just can't wait till morning come for left. And that was the night. That was the night when the Lord licked me. That was the night when I talk about me cry, me roll, me argue, me angry. Everybody around me, I pray for me. Them I say, just let go and let God. And me I say, me nah let go. Me nah let go. Me nah. For me, if can't tell you need a song, me nah let go. Me nah let go. And Nemeica, she was just so patient with me. she understand where my heart was, and she know how me just did desperately need, that. But then that just come off of the table when the Lord just capture me and, just right there and then. So I'm gonna make sure, take it from there, from the start,
No, I'm just saying, just to reach out a little that, from Marclyn, when I first saw him, that football game, we had that football game, and I saw him and something just came over me. I don't know if you have experienced this before, but as a young girl, you see a guy that you like, you start act stupid. That was me at the time. So I knew then that I had some kind of feeling, and I went to school, started telling my friends about this guy. Everybody wanted to meet this guy. Everybody wanted to know who Marclyn is and so. And then from that, I just knew, and we officially came together. You wrote the letter, I wrote a letter, and we officially came together. And I'm just appreciative of Marclyn being in my life. And as young as we were in church. So we got the opportunity to grow together spiritually. Yeah. We experienced a lot of things. We went through a lot of things together. And I believe that will come out as we go along, as we progress. But
one of the things is that I always said to people that, God give me my wife from me in the world. It's like God did know my struggle. Him did know, say, boy, Marclyn, I understand where I'm going to go and where I'm going to there. And we just have to make sure. I just see that as a big favor. I never had to go into church and struggling to find a wife. Much of I saw friends going in and out of relationship, back and forth, and every girl they meet is them wife. And it just never work out. Them say, boy, at the enemy send that one day. So I never had that experience of going back and forth in and out of relationships and getting hurt over and over. I never had that experience. I was so happy that I found who I needed to be by my side, even now. And I was just so grateful for that opportunity. And we have grown, as Nemeica said, in many areas. When it was start out very rocky, and one of the greatest things is mentorship is very important. Yeah. As couples, you have to have mentorship. And that was where Bishop Omar Wedderburn comes in. He was a spiritual father for Nemeica. I had a mentor as well. Her name was Pastor Caron Mesado. She's still my mentor. And one of the things is that they were always there for us every single time when Nemeica and I would have a disagreement and it will escalate. Young people will always want left. It done. That's our regular term. It done. They ensure. So we were going through a counseling period as a young couple, and we were serious for God. I mean, we were both sold out for Him. Yeah. So we never did a hanky panky business. We never did a go around and go on with a bag of things. Our bishop trusts us so much. People in the church trust us so much. We were youth leaders, and we were still together. That they would normally say, boyfriend and girlfriend thing. That was not for us. That wasn't even a label for us. Everyone knew that this couple they were meant to be. This is purpose. They're purpose partners, and that is where as a pastor Wedderburn, he will counsel us when we have our disagreements. We never try to work them out on our own. We try to bring others in. Like Pastor Caron Mesado. She will call us. She will deal with issues. She will deal with Nemeica issues. She will work on us together. Yeah. Work on us single-handedly. I mean, we needed people. Yeah,
it's good to have people who you can trust to make decisions for you when you are when you are unable to make decisions for yourself. It is important. People that you trust who are objective and you know, having mentors in our life from such an early age has really helped us in our spiritual growth and our relationship and even personal one-on-one. So that is something that we really do appreciate, and I encourage other young people to definitely have mentorship.
So, Nemeica, so I want to ask you, because as you said, while you guys were, the couple, and you got on, you got the passion for God. Marclyn gave his life to the Lord. Kudos. Both of you are now pursuing God. And becoming a wife. Tell us about that journey for you becoming a wife. What age you got married. What cemented in your heart that this is what I want to do really, or this is I know you said you knew that this was a person you wanted to be with, but tell us for you as a woman, what that journey to becoming a wife now, married for how long? 16 years?
No, 6 years going on 7, but being together.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, for me, I knew, growing up in the yard that I was, big family, around 30 of us in one yard. Everybody have their own little places. And my mother always been away, either America or England. And growing up and see certain kinds of liberty, I knew that I did not want that for myself at all. And I made a declaration to the Lord. I said, God, I had a plan. I said, God, any guy that I'm with, any guy that gets me has to be my husband. I have to have my degree. If I'm in church, I have to serve you. I made certain declarations over my life. And that was before I recommitted my life to God. So I was very serious about me, even though I wanted to be this go-go girl. I wanted to be this kind of girl. I kept my purity because I knew that was very important. And because of what I was seeing around me, I didn't want to end up like that. And now, giving my life to God, I found purpose. I never know nothing about university. I never know that I could go and further my study. I never know that I could even do certain things. And going into church, I really get a new perspective of life. Now I found myself, what I really wanted to do and what God has called me to do. And being in a relationship, I just knew that Marclyn was the one for me, because you have to have somebody who sees the bigger picture. Sometimes you can't see the picture. You have to have that needle where choke you. Say, no, you're not settling here, so. I see more in you. I see greater in you. This is what you're called out to be. You really need that. And what stood out for what that I knew Marclyn was my husband. Marclyn was this guy who loves. That's why the Bible never wrong. The Bible said the man must love. And knowing Marclyn, being with Marclyn, the Bible, I know I can understand that scripture. Marclyn was very determined and a guy who fights for me, who stood up for me. It doesn't matter who you be, him stand up for me, him not leaving. I remember one time in a party that we went to, this other guy who liked me, and he knew, and Marclyn and I were together, me and the guy, them like him to him like me, and Marclyn knew, and him, the guy stand up right us, and Marclyn stand up right us, and him decide to not leaving. Because I know, say, me a him, him not leave. And I say, which guy that do that? Them that want to fix it out, them that want to fight it out. And him stand up and he make sure, say, him go home, I'm all right. Everything, he make sure, say, I'm all right. Even universe, and these are no concreting the reasons why I knew that this guy was my husband. Going to university, I didn't have the financial support because I'm in a broken family. Didn't have money to cut student loan. Marclyn was working at this institution as what was it? Youth employment officer. He was working $9,000 fortnightly, and I'm telling you, yeah, man, I for talk because we're young. I would not make no money. Yeah. So, and him take the money every fortnight and him give it to me, knowing that he has his bills to pay as a young man. And him thinks, and him give me, I said, no, baby, you can't give me all of your money. Him said, Nemeica, go on to school. I knew, I see all days when Marclyn, him shoes bottom gone, and him still a walk on the asphalt and him stuff. Me see we Marclyn with one pants. It a tear up, and him still a give me the money, everything. And I said, if this guy can make such a great sacrifice for me, and me and him not married yet, no man, we can't let him go at all. And we were young, and I like say we are big people, but we were, he might make some big step from him, a young boy. So I know some head on him body. Right? And I finished university because my father encouraged me to just finish university first before I get married. Let's go with their studies and stuff. And I said, okay, I honored that. And he waited, Marclyn waited, because he wanted to get married before. We were engaged before. And my father said, just finish university, Nemeica. Finish university. Then I finished university. And I said, all right, Marclyn, what go on now? We finish university, we're engaged. What go on? And I say, he must say, just go and hold out, little man. Just go and hold out, little. And I said, but we done university, me in a church, we love each other. And we say, yeah, this we really want for each other. And he must say, just go and hold out. So I see it stretch out now. So I say, so oh, we not get married, I want to go on. So I go to him and I said to him, say, Marclyn, what's going on? And I saying already, he must say, him no know, kind of just fearful. I just see him just break down and start crying. I said, what happened to you? He started to just pour out saying that he is afraid to get married. So I said, why? He said because of what happened with his mother and his father, why he was afraid to commit. And I'm telling you, God had to do his healing in him before we even go into marriage. Because we couldn't enter marriage being broken like that. God had to do his thing in Marclyn first. And it almost led to the point of us separating, breaking up. Because me decided to look here, me I move on with my life. I'm not going to sit down and wait. But God stood me up, God itched me up and said, no, Nemeica, you can't do that. You can't do that. So God had to do his healing in him, do his healing in me. And the story goes through, and I think Marclyn has something to add to that part before we actually go into the whole wedding story.
Oh, yeah, okay. So on that particular night, I realized that something was bothering me, and it came out. You know, most times when you find, and I know this happens a lot in churches, you'll have relationships that they're engaged for years, and the woman will always want to be married, but the man just keep putting it off, saying, you know, I don't accomplish certain things yet. When I get a house, I just want to settle down first. I just want to get certain things out of the way. And when we find that happening, it speaks towards our commitment level, and it speaks towards how much are we willing to take on as a man. You know, because when you get married, you have to become responsible. You now become the head. You're a leader. Everything rise and fall at the foot of leadership. So there was a fear in me because I felt as if my marriage is going to fail because my mother and father marriage failed. I felt as if I was going to become like my father, and I was already in church, someone who is abusive, someone who keeps doing certain things, you know, drinking and, you know, just doing crazy stuff. So I had that fear in me, and the Lord had to break that fear. And how the Lord break that fear, I had to accept who I am. And I just keep going around saying, I'm not like my father. I'm not like my father. I'm not going to do stuff like him. I'm not going to handle situations like him. When I was going down that road, I was just like my father. I saw everything that he did. I learned from him, and I was in denial. I was neglecting that. How am I going to change if I don't accept who I am, and then now change will come. And the Lord said to me, do you know why your father become like the way he was? His father was the same person, same abusive, even much worse. And he said the same thing. He's not going to become like his father. And eventually he ended up just like him. And the Lord said to me, how you're going to overcome this situation, you have to first accept that there is a weakness. Accept that you cannot do this alone. And I said to the Lord, I am like my father. I accept who I am, and that's when the change and the transformation start taking place. And I was just pushing it and going around the bush, you know, and one day I was washing in my washroom, and Nemeica came at the house. She was there, and the power of God just come down on me in the washroom. I mean, I felt a heavy load. I don't know, it just feel heavy, just drop down on me, and I fall to the ground. And a strong voice said to me, go and get married now. I mean, I was running from this thing. I was just running, and it come again. I said, go and get married now, for if you don't do it now, you know what is going to happen. And
let me add to that part. While I was at the house while he was washing outside, and I was at the point where I couldn't take this no more. I want to move on with my life. And I sat on his bed. I heard this directly from God. The Lord said to me, sit on the bed. Come and tell you, I buy up my things them, and I say, I move. I'll pay a deposit to move and everything. And the Lord said, sit on the bed. And I sat on his bed. And I said to God, God, Marclyn and I have been together from such a young age, and I love this guy, and I don't want to leave. What are your plans? What are you doing? Because me not proceed, me not go another year, and we're not tired enough, because me no want we go forward. And me I said, God, talk to him. I was in his bed sitting down while he was outside. And I said, God, if this is your will, if you don't want me to move and go live on my own, go talk to him, because him are your son. And I remember in the word where Sarah couldn't reach to her husband, and Sarah spoke to you, and you spoke to Abraham. And I'm saying, God, I need something like that right now. Speak to Marclyn. And God spoke to him the exact time. He was outside washing. I was in his bed sitting down. And I just saw him running, like, when somebody run and them just look around the place like them confused. So me I look on him and I say, walk on him, say, no, but I forget married, no. God, so we need to marry, no. So me shocked, and me go up in the bed, like, because of the first year I experienced something like this. And I got up in the bed and I was like, oh my God, and I say, God, so fast. And him come and him say, no, Nemeica, we have to do it, because we always wanted this big posh wedding, like, mother, father, family, and when people come and pretty up, I'm a long thing and stuff. And the Lord worked. He came in as I spoke to the Lord, and it was a beautiful experience, And just to top that off, I think probably the week after,
yeah, she said to me that I should give her at least a week. She begged me, we can do it next week, Saturday, and like, all right, maybe 1 week. Like, I just want to get this over with. 1 week, because we big proposal done though, and we were just pulling it out. 3 years now, pulling my foot, enough is enough. And we worship, and as I said, it was more of like an elope something, because none of our parents
did have the big passion.
My mother wasn't there. My mother didn't even know I was getting married.
It was swift. It was fast. But to top that off, after he told me that God said, all right, then we need to do this right away. Our bishop was overseas, and our bishop called, I think in the heat of the moment, probably a few days after, and he said, Nem, the Lord spoke to me strongly, And he said, when I get back, I am to marry you, and Marclyn need to get it together, and you guys need to get married right away. I'm like, everything just started happening. And I said, God, I just asked if I talk to Marclyn and look like God, I talk to all different kind of people. But he's big and he's fixing it up. And Marclyn, God spoke to our bishop. Our bishop came down where we're living now. We got this place by blessing. The lady reached out to us and everything. God just put everything together. And we got married up by Oak Garden, just him and I, with the witnesses. Nothing big and posh because the Lord wanted it. No.
It was posh. It was posh, but it wasn't big. It was posh, but it wasn't big. But it happened, and it couldn't happen any other way. Yes. And it was on the day when about 15 persons were getting married at Oak Garden that day.
Yeah, it was Valentine's Day. 14
and we were the 15. We were the 15 on that day. So God just tapped it in as a special. Just hold on one more. And we got married on Valentine's Day. And it was a blast. It was a blast.
Oh, so, I mean, Wow. Wow. So here's some specific questions, because somebody that's might be listening, especially as Marclyn has said, he doesn't know what it feels like to not, being with other women and, trying to pursue the singleness journey. And definitely Nemeica kind of know what it feel like for them on the train, like myself here, they are only like a real Jenna, but that doesn't mean that we can't learn and appreciate, you guys' journey, while we wouldn't have to do that excessive waiting. There were waiting season, like you said, waiting on him even after 3 years, even after you say, engagement, you still have to be, and then God is working through you. So fast forward to now, what would you say are probably top 2 lessons each? So, I want to hear Nemeica's top 2 lessons as, just being a kingdom couple, what you have learned, and similarly for Marclyn.
Okay. Well, for me, being a wife, I've learned so many things, but my top 2 is definitely having a relationship with God. I'm an independent person. I can do a lot of things at the same time. So necessarily, I don't really ask for help per se. I'll just do it. If it needs to get done, I'll just do it. And what I've learned is to allow Marclyn to be the man that God has made him for me, right? And that wasn't easy for me, because a lot of times you find that we clash in the house. We clash, like, all right. So we had to make things like, all right, Nemeica, you are responsible for that, and I am responsible for this. So we don't clash. And I've learned how to stay in my lane while assisting him wherever he needs assistance, and he has learned to stay in his lane and assist me wherever I need assistance. And that, for me, I believe, is one of the things that allows us to synchronize so much. We don't have a lot of clashes in the house. Like, for what I can compliment him about is that I don't like shopping. I don't do that at all. I don't do nothing outside of the house. Anything outside of the house, Marclyn does that. Me, I'll stay in. I'll stay in and do whatever. So I've learned how to allow him to just do the things that as God has called him to do in this marriage. Another thing that I've learned is to have a great relationship with God. And some of the times that I can't reach out to Marclyn, or I'd want to, so I'll just send it up to God. I say, God, this is your son. I said this to Mark, but he hasn't received it well. So God, you go and talk to him. You go and talk to him instead of me. No. I used to do that. Like, you're not getting me. You're not this. You're not that. And he's saying, like, Nem, just chill. So and so. I said, well, you don't understand. No. And that used to rip us. So the Lord has taught me how to just connect to me. Because it's him, God, Marclyn, me. So whatever I need, like some of the things that I need, I can't reach out to him. I said, God, you deal with him. And I'm telling you, it works. It works. And I can encourage any wife that sometimes, you're trying to get through. Not saying that he's always like that. No, he's not always like that. But I'm talking about certain big decisions that I may see like, okay, I think we can work it out this way. And he's not seeing it. And I believe this is what the Lord is saying to me. And I said, God, this is what I believe you're saying to me. Talk to him. He's your son. You put him at the head of this house. You talk to him. And God has always come through for us in that regard. And those are the two things: learning to allow him to take the lead, and me having a relationship with God so that God can talk to him.
And for you, Marclyn?
For me, there is so many things that we could talk about concerning marriage, and one of the things, you have to be selfless. You have to know your role in the relationship. And Ephesians 5 clearly explained the role of a wife and the role of a husband. Wives, submit to your husband as you submit to God. Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. What we don't understand is that the husband, as the leader, get the most hardest role in the situation. Because to love means a whole heap of things. And when God said love, him practically read out the whole of 1 Corinthians 13 to the man and said, that is what you have to do with your wife. And what great thing you can take from our relationship is Nemeica 1 had standards. Nemeica had standards and she stood by them. She did not compromise who she is. She didn't compromise who she was at the time, because she said to me, 1, no sex until I leave school. That did something for me as a man. It showed me that this girl knows what she's about. This girl understands who she is, and she doesn't need a man to validate her effectiveness or her happiness. So if it was up to me if I wanted to wait, and it was up to me if I didn't wanted to wait, but she was not going to compromise and devalue herself, and hence that allowed me to put more value on the product that I was after. Because if she had said to me, I'm in a relationship with you, you can take what you want now. No, then I would realize that the value is not, worth keeping. She made sure that she was worth keeping. And a lot of young people now in churches, as they get into a relationship, the first thing they start doing is just living, sometimes just wild. They start having intimacy in the relationship, as Christians right away. They don't get to know each other. There was no form of friendship. No form of friendship, no form of courtship. Them just go right as 2 months, 3 months, as 3 months pass, they get into an intimate relationship, and they expect that man is going to say, yeah, man, me I go work this out and it's going to last and everything. You have to give us a challenge. Every man love a challenge. And if it's not challenging, it's not going to be excited and will never stay. So set standards in your relationship. Set some goals. Set certain things. Put them upon the forehead. Write them upon the hand. Make sure it's on your heart. Make sure it's visible. Set some standards. And one other thing is that, as I said, you have to know your role. We are to love. So it simply means that we are to be patient. Men, we are to be patient. We are to be kind. We're to be loving. We're not to be puffed up. We're not to be easily provoked. Just imagine 1 Corinthians 13 as the husband job description. And the wife job description is just to submit. I'm like, this is crazy, yo. This is crazy because our duty is to make sure that our wives become the better version of themselves. And if the man doesn't know how to love himself, he will never know how to love his wife. If I didn't break certain things over my life, I would never know how to love Nemeica. Because trust me, Nemeica was not just this person that dropped from heaven in my lap like a little angel. Nemeica grew up fighting for every single thing in her life. Nemeica grew up making responsibility at a young age. At what age? Her mother left at the age of 12. Nemeica started making decisions at the age of 12. Mature decisions. Nemeica had to fend for herself. Nemeica grew up without a mother or a father at hand. So when I married this girl, I'm marrying someone who doesn't know how to drop the ball. Nemeica is always at it, always a perfectionist. Someone who listen me, if I'm not getting it through you, I'm gonna get it some other way. How no you tell a woman like that to be patient, to ask permission, to submit to know a man? That ain't easy. So there for me, you, as she said, you have to know your role in the marriage and you have to pray about it. You say, Lord, you said that I'm the husband and I'm to love. And my job doesn't stop because Nemeica is not doing what she's supposed to do. Even when Nemeica does not submit, even when Nemeica cuss me out, my job is to always love this woman unconditionally. My job is to make sure, no matter what, this woman becomes a better version of myself. Nothing negative should leave my mouth concerning her life, because I am the leader, the king, the priest of this family. And anything happen in this family, if this marriage now is to be over, I am to be blamed. I am the one who would allow this to end, because I am the one who God has placed and said, listen me, watch over your wife. Wash her with the word. So as husband, we have to know our role. And sometimes when we just see the word love, it's just blah. No. 1 Corinthians 13. Read 1 Corinthians 13 and you will know the whole job description of a husband. So, yeah.
Thank you. You know, something came to mind. We interviewed Pastor Bolt, my pastor from King Court Christian Fellowship, and he is always talking about, men having a heavier role. And, a lot of men in the, always say, oh, Pastor Bolt is very hard on men, and Pastor Bolt is and he will always say, no, I'm not hard on men. God is hard on men, but God has also equipped the men, and it's just a blessing to hear Marclyn. Basically, just aligning with what Pastor Bolt would have shared on the podcast before about, a man's responsibility, not feeling like, because the woman doesn't do this. But no, your actions is aligned to, men submit as unto God. So your action is as unto God. So I really, 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 really want to thank you for that. So I think the people want to know if Nemeica did wall out until our wedding day.
Wall out?
Yes.
Wall out power.
What did she wall out until our wedding day?
No, man. What happened now? We definitely did. We did end up doing stuff. We did fall in many areas. So it's not like we were perfect and we hold out right through. No, as I said, that's why Nemeica was so confused and frustrated, is because even we were engaged now. You see, that is one of the things, we have to be careful as young people, as couples, because at the end of the day, when we put on the ring, it's straight no time for married. Mm-hmm. But then I was still battling. With my issues and my problems. So then she was frustrated because it's me. She doesn't want to live a double life. She doesn't want to live a life that we're good with God, and then oh Lord, forgive us, and we were serious for God. So that was definitely affecting us so much, because we are burning as well. We are burning and burning because we are adult now. We can do what we want to do. We're not business with who want to. No, but we have a God in heaven. And Nemeica was as I say, Nemeica did very strict on our values. Like, listen me, you're not going to just come and this man, you're gone. No. So we had to do something. And as I said, that is when the Lord stepped in and did his healing in me. He had to heal my heart. He had to make sure we sort out and things. But yeah, man.
What I appreciate too is, sometimes we act like we're not burn. And when I tell people, say, they feel like the purity walk. I tell them all the time. So when you don't have anybody pursuing you, and you have no man around here, like as a woman, it's easy to hold it, you can be a real journal, but you see, once you find somebody that you really care for, you really desire, listen, you're like, it's so easy for you to just compromise and you don't even know when it happened,
Yes.
But we thank you, Holy Spirit, for God's grace and mercy that, Him not hold it against us, that doesn't disqualify us in any way, shape, or form. So as we close, I want you guys to just kind of, I know that you have, your two beautiful children, and then Marclyn don't see the woman as him baby mother a long time, him wife long time, mother and children a long time, I must also, without apology, just, I wouldn't have known Nemeica's journey, because Nemeica don't talk a lot, and I like Marclyn, most of Marclyn look at bad ways, them, when they're ready to give him testimony everywhere,
But testimony story.
I must commend, because again, I know Nama Manley. One of my brothers went to Nama Manley. Of course, I grew up in Maxfield. Plus, I grew up in Maxfield. So everybody know Nama Manley, and we know the reputation of the school, and we know, come on, half of the girls in our community go Manley, and the reputation, and to know that you could have chosen there's another path. Yeah, me here say you hear from God and God force you, but at the end of the day, people here get the conviction of God every single day. Them get licked down, them they on bed and they still not answer, but I must commend you, from walking away from what you think, was your love and, your desire, and, just being an example, so that somebody that's attending, I don't know, I really hope that they send this to, girls that are attending different schools, or young men that are attending different schools, in Jamaica. For our overseas listeners, the Norman Manley School would not be considered, top school. Tarrant, worst Tarrant, Tarrant is doing extremely well right now, but before, I used to go St. Jude's. So, so when you pass the Tarrant, you say, but you go jump off the bridge, right? So, so to know that, you guys can come from what is considered, a really rough background, and to know that, you can pursue God, you can turn your life around, you can, be successful, you can have a degree. I want a young person that's listening right now to know that, we in Christ, the possibilities are so endless. You don't have to choose the way that everybody else says. You don't have to choose, to walk in the path that seems to be, that way. And Nemeica is definitely the example of that, choosing Christ. Is not, we hear the call, and someone say now we upon a call, and listen, God don't call on already. You now listen to the podcast. If you are not a Christian, you listen to the podcast, God will call you. Because you're not supposed to, listen. So that means that God will call you. You don't need no other call. right? You just need to answer the call now. So I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate your journey. So as we close though, any final words of encouragement as we close off the couple up? I love couple up because, I do believe that, God has purposed people for different seasons, different reasons, and, in a unique way. And while your story, is definitely unique to know that, from such a young age, from teenage years, you guys, met and, were intentional about getting to know each other. And even when things weren't working out, you were willing to fight to stay together. I just don't think that is as popular as, especially in the church. Like, boy, whether we want to believe it or not, the church is divorcing as divorce rate is as high as the non-believers divorce rate, and that is the truth of the matter. So that means people are not living as Christ ought to. But I thank you for your testimony. So anything that you feel led on your heart to share with singles, with a teen or with even married people, just a married couple, just share for us, please.
Well, for me, I'll encourage females like myself out there just to love on the Lord. Give him all that you can give him now, especially being young. Serve him wholeheartedly, because he promises today to grant us the desires of our hearts once we delight ourselves in him. So I'll encourage any young girl, don't push it. Allow, especially for those who really want to get married, who are desirous of getting married, just to allow the Lord to send him, because he's the one who's supposed to find you. Don't get desperate, because you will end up in something prematurely or end up in a relationship that is going to end up in mess. Allow the Lord to lead you. Allow him to guide you. Allow him to steer you, because inside you are his child, he will not give you stone. If you are his child, he's going to give you bread. He's not going to give you a stone. And he gives precious gifts. He's a God who gives good gifts. And if you wait on him and allow him to perfect the things that you cannot see or you don't have control over, he will definitely bless you. Because what I've learned is that we went through our experience being single just to mold and shape us for what we're going through now in our marriage and in our relationship. We have gone through so many things that we say, look here, nothing can just come and just mash us up like this. Nothing at all. We are so strong, and God being the foundation of our marriage, I am just happy that God has just blessed us with so much things, because we have put him at the forefront of everything. And it's good when you have a partner who loves the Lord and who hears from God and who can make decisions for you, for the family, and you can trust that, because I trust what Marclyn says. Even if I don't necessarily agree at the time, I trust what he says, because he's someone who hears from God, and that gives me peace, that gives me security, and that gives me assurance. So when you wait on God, he knows what to bless you with, because God know me, know my personality. Me don't just submit to foolishness. It's never easy for me at all. So I was not saying that, we just reached this mature level just like that. No, we had our rough times. Oh, yes, people, our mentors, when we can't make decisions for ourselves, we say, Auntie Caron, Pastor Caron, you decide. Anything you say, we will do right now. Bishop, whatever you say, we will do right now, because we trust your heart and we know that you have our best interest at heart. So we had our rough times, but God being the center and the core of our relationship, I don't see any wind that can come now. By God's grace, I'm not saying that anything can happen, but we're not putting that there. By God's grace, we know we have the strength to endure and to carry on. And I'm grateful for that. And those are my few words. Just wait. God will bring the right person. Align yourself while you prepare yourself as a wife also, because you have to be the wife before the man can find, Because the Lord says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. You have to start acting like a wife. Be mature. Start putting yourselves together. Start acting. Read up how wives behave. Read up how wives act and so on. And position yourself so that it can easily find you. If you continue acting single and all over the place and not see no maturity, he has to see something. He has to see something to want it. I want that to be a part. So prepare yourself and God will grant you the desires of your heart. Those are my few words.
Thank you.
So
Thank
many.
you. Go ahead, Marclyn.
For me, for the singles, get healing, get your deliverance, work on yourself. I try not to focus on relationships when there is trauma in your life.
Yeah.
Get counseling. Single, I mean like go over family life ministry, pay a little money and get counseling. Get counseling. For those who are in a relationship and not yet married, make sure your communication is growing. Get communication, get counseling together and get counseling apart. Work on the communication, make sure it is effective. When it comes on to compromising, it's not the end. Normally it happens at times and it don't happen. You understand me? But the moment you find out that compromising takes place, it just means that you need to speed up the process. The burning that takes place and things are happening, and the moment these things step in and comes into place, the enemy can have a foothold. Yeah. So try not to draw out the whole cycle. Mm-hmm. That's why I said from your single, get your healing, get your deliverance, get mentorship. When you get in a relationship now, when you're on your courted, get your counseling. Try not to stretch out the engagement process or the courting process, or, because you would have already, next thing, try to build a friendship. Before you become intimate, get to know the person. Build a friendship, and building a friendship will take 3 months. It will take 6 months. You understand me? It takes years. Give yourself some time. Put some standards in your relationship so you can abide by them. If standards are broken, all you need to do, get back up. Start again. Start fresh. Make sure you pray together. Read the word together. Speak into each other's life. Be a friend. Be a friend to each other. And watch a whole heap of videos with on marriage sermons, and speak to a whole heap of marriage people who have bad marriage and people who have good marriage. You need to hear the two sides. Yes. You need to hear the two sides. Next thing, for married couples, surround yourself with married people. Amen. We cannot do this on our own. If we are married and our friend and a peer single friend you have, me as a man, me married, 6 of my friends them single, it is not going to work out easy for you. Same thing for the female. It is not going to work out easy. Whenever you get married, try to surround yourself with married people. Start to change up your circle and add some more married couples to it. And when you're going out, make sure these couples are there, because the more, if you have somebody who's having a successful marriage, and you are around them, your marriage will become successful. If you are around somebody who is not having a successful marriage, then most definitely you're going to have problems. So surround yourself with people who are having successful marriages that are working out. I'm not saying it is perfect, but they are striving to be perfect. Amen. So that is one of the take. And know your duties. Husband, love your wife. Wife, submit. Find out what is the meaning of submission. What does submission means in Christ, in God? Husband, find out what is love. What is love in your wife looks like. Don't just hear it from the mere man. and say, yo, them say me for love you. And then our interpretation of love is just come home and make sure say you eat. Make sure say food in the house. Make sure say you the people them have clothes and everybody good and you go in your bed, you don't care. We have our own interpretation of what love is. Find out what is the love that the Bible is talking about when it says love your wife as Christ loved the church. So that is my...
Thank you. Just before you go, because you are a financial advisor, and one of they say statistics shows that money is one of the biggest reasons why couples just always divorce. So I want you to just take the few minutes, about 2 minutes, because we've gone over time. But God, me love the story. I love the mix up. Not mine. But one, just talk to us about the finances in marriage for somebody that's listening, any take as a financial advisor. Also, just tell us a little bit about what you do, Marclyn.
All right. So in marriage, I take it very literal when it comes on to the oneness. The word says the two shall become one. Nemeica and I, we are no longer two, but we are one. Everything that we do, we do it together. And what that does, it creates a pattern that keeps us knitted. Meaning, me can go over here, sir, and she don't know. And she can go over there, sir, and me don't know. So what we do, when it comes on to the bills, it's not a roommate type of lifestyle. It's one type of lifestyle. It's a marriage, one. So when it comes on to the light bill, we pay the light bill.
Or salary.
When it comes on to the water bill, we pay the water bill. Everything. When it comes on to paying anything, we pay it. When it comes on to a loan or loan. They get to me and say everything is we and it becomes or. Or salary becomes one. It's not your salary. It's not, this is how me get paid. This is how you know how much we make this month.
And even if you come into the marriage with a loan, Marclyn come in with fee loan, it becomes or loan. So
everything becomes or. So we merge our funds together. We don't do nothing outside of each other.
Yeah.
You understand me? When it comes on to our savings, we save together. When it comes on to certain things, we do them together. So we have transparency.
Yeah.
One of the things is why married couples have disagreements and fight when it comes on to money is because the other don't know where the man don't know what the woman do and the woman don't know what the man do. Him come, boy, I want to spend this and spend that. What do you mean? The arguments, money is very dangerous. The spirit of mammon, when that green eye monster enter your heart, may I tell you a problem. I see marriages damaged because of that. So at the end of the day, make sure how we survive this long when it comes on to, because Nemeica, she earns and, me earn as well. So every single thing is combined and we pay the bills together. We pay our things together, do everything together. We save together, we invest together. And as I say, it speaks to transparency. Nemeica knows what I'm spending on. Me know what Nemeica is spending on. And we have several accounts. So we can say, all right, sweetheart, this is our petty cash account. And the both of us have a card for the petty cash account. This is our savings account. This is our investments. This is our insurance. This is what we do. And every single month we come together over the computer and we say, all right, that goes there, that goes there. So she knows what is in the saving. Me know what is in the saving. We know what is in the petty cash. She know what is in the... So she know everything. Me not hide nothing. Me not say that money in your stuff for me. You understand me? So if we want to surprise each other, that's the only part. That's the only part we're kind of, hard. Because if we want to surprise each other, she go come and she go say, boy, Marclyn, I don't know some spend this, So in some instances, that's why we have credit cards. So we have a credit card now and we say, all right, the two of us are on one credit card. She have her credit card, me have mine. We only see that when at the end of the month. We only get a bill at the end of the month. So I don't know what she go buy. And I like, check the credit card that much. You will check the history of the account, but not the credit card. So these are how we get by and how we allow things to operate and we swing it. And we have no problems. As I'm say, she allow me to become the man in the house. And the person, because I'm the financial advisor, so I deal with the money.
Yes.
So I'm like the chief financial officer in the marriage, and Nemeica is basically
the GM.
The GM, the general manager, and I have to basically I give her an update every single month of how our finances are going. So I said, all right. Sometimes she not pay the bills with me, but sometimes she does. So, but when she don't do it, I would say, all right, this is what we spend this month. This is how much we spend, and we send her the budget. We send her the whole budget. Email her the budget. What was spent? How much is remainder in the account? What if we're gonna do anything for this month? So we operate like a business. We deal with it like a business. So it works for us.
Yeah.
And I would recommend it to anybody.
All right. How can people contact you if they're interested in, connecting with you as a financial advisor?
Well, I'm Marclyn McFarlane on Facebook and Marclyn McFarlane on Instagram. So you can connect with me there. My number is 435-0537. If anytime you want to call, we do the whole lot: investments, insurance, critical illness, pension planning, child education fund, the whole works.
Okay.
So, mm-hmm.
All right. So again, guys, thank you for, just coming on and sharing these powerful nuggets, sharing the story. I mean, I had to mute the phone the way I laugh. My sister, everybody run out of the room. I wonder what to make as my laugh so till. So thank you so much again. And guys, I will leave Marclyn information and Nemeica information so you can connect with them, if they have questions. They're both in ministry also, both called by God. So I'm sure if you are struggling with anything and you need, somebody to pray with you, you saw me a throwing out there, but I just agree, so definitely if you, I also train out there, if you're locally, if you're, I guess you're international, you need a vibes master to MC your wedding, anything you want, MC, Marclyn is definitely the fun if you want somebody to, talk to your teens and, just, he's very, very passionate about, young people and connect with them. So, guys, thank you. I know this episode is a little bit long, but I know something I can laugh so till like myself, right? So, yeah. God bless you guys and see you guys for another episode of Diary of a Jesus Girl next week. God bless you.
All right.
Diary of a Jesus Girl. Jesus girl, hey, it's the diary of a Jesus girl.